Hey, how you doing? It's Will with Will's Rants, and we're here to talk about the nonsense that is this attack on Iran from Israel. Rusty, what the heck is going on? What is wrong with these people? Let's just look at the timing. First of all, Trump decides, in case you've been living under a stupid rock or something, Trump decides that on his birthday weekend, when he was going to have a Kim Jong-il military parade, because he wants to be a dictator so bad that on that weekend, June 15th, or was it June 14th? Whatever. Today's June 14th, which is the 250th anniversary of the army, right? But he's going to co-opt that for himself because he wants to be this king. And anyway, so there was massive protests all over the country called No King's Day. And we went to one in LA, and I'm doing another video about that right here. But basically, for some reason, he needed a distraction. So he calls up his friend BB. Hey, BB, I need a favor. You know that a big attack we've been planning? You've been planning on Iran all this time. Can you do it this weekend, please? It would really help me, and then we'll trade some more favors. I'll send you some more bombs for Gaza, kill a couple more kids, and then, you're gonna give me that land over there so I can make my family rich, the Gaza development. Anyway, I need you to attack Iran this weekend. And that's exactly what happened. So out of the blue, Israel attacks Iran and kills 78 people, kills a lot of their military leadership, attacks the capital city, Tehran, or whatever. And basically, the Iranians are pissed off, right? So, but the news is gonna spin this just like in the Iraq war, where it was we have to attack Iraq because, there's weapons of mass destruction. See this vial? Oh, this is actually salt. This is not really some secret killing power. This is just salt, but you don't know that. Actually, it's all a lie and it's all fake, but George Bush's family is pissed off that Saddam Hussein insulted him. So, we have to destroy that whole country. Anyway, the news is spinning this from the perspective of, Iran's developing a nuclear weapon. Let's just stop it right there. Let's just go back to what actually happened. You know what's making me mad? What makes me so mad is the fact that the way Trump and all these lies and all this deception and darkness, it's twisting everything around. And same for, Netanyahu in Israel. It's the same thing. It's just what is the truth, right? And so basically it's are we gonna forget that Obama had a deal with the Iranians? Obama had, made a deal where the Iranians agreed not to make a nuclear weapon and to change all their stuff around, and they had a deal and it was done and it was working. They had worked for a long time to get it, but then Trump gets elected the last time and he's just oh man, what, a black man was the president? Oh my God. I gotta destroy everything he did. I can't have a black man doing anything positive. What, he made a deal with Iran? Get rid of that mess right now. We're canceling on day one. We're canceling the deal with Iran. And that's exactly what happened. And America just, reneges on all its agreements with the Kurds and with the South Vietnamese. And should we just go on? And now it's the Iranians, and they always have some explanation for this, but the point is that we cannot be trusted. So the Iranians are well, wait, we had a deal. And Trump's I don't give a crap about your stupid deal. So now they don't have a deal. What do you expect them to do, right? So now here we are, and they probably are working on their nuclear weapon and refining uranium to 80% or whatever they need, right? And then Netanyahu's just itching at the trigger finger. He just can't wait to freaking go in there and attack him, because he's like one of those dudes in the West that just has a gun and just going shooting everything up. It's just just shooting everything up. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! He's just insane. First they attacked, Gaza, just blew that place to smithereens, and then they're going to attack Lebanon. Sure, Hezbollah was pissed off at what they were doing in Gaza, and sure, Gaza happened because Hamas sent rockets over there and grabbed some hostages. Sure, but they decided to go over there and attack, Hezbollah in Lebanon. They're at war with Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and then the Houthis got involved over there in Yemen, and now we got Iran, and they're just that dude is freaking crazy and insane. where it gets really bad is the fact that, you know, all the presidents before, conservative or Democrat, knew that this was a disaster in the making. As Islam, who cares about them? They're a bunch of idiots. We just need to take all their stuff, you know? And the Iranians are not Hamas in Gaza. It's a completely different animal, okay? And the other presidents knew that. I mean, you can sit back and be like, oh, well, those Iranians are so evil. They're the axis of evil, spreading evil all through the Middle East. Maybe. But you cannot just go attack Iran like it's just some little, like, you know, third world country over here. Because they have power, right? They have influence, power, strategic advantage, okay? And the US learned this lesson the hard way. I think it was back in the 80s or something. Like, it's just not as simple as that. And so Trump last time had people that were on his side that were like, I'm sorry, not on his side, but sensible people that were telling him, no, Mr. President, you cannot attack Iran. Like, that's not going to work. And you better tell the Israelis not to, because that's going to be a disaster. Well, now Trump just has a bunch of idiots in office. He doesn't care if it's just like Germany in World War II, right? It's just, you just got to be loyal. That's all that matters. And just like World War II, Hitler was just surrounded by a bunch of idiots. And it's like, you know, and then we had, that country had to be freaking like destroyed to all oblivion. And even then those idiots would never come through. They're surrounded by the Russians. The whole city in this country's millions are in rubble. Tens of millions of people are dead. And these fools are, you don't believe me? Watch that movie Downfall. You can see how it all played out. These fools are in a bunker still talking this nonsense about, well, I think if we move to south, you know, the East Army here and the South Army there, and there's no freaking armies. They've all been destroyed. And it's like, this is the same thing that's happening with Trump. He's surrounded by a bunch of yes men idiots, and so this is what's so bad about what's happening now. There's no one they're delusional. Both Netanyahu, Bibi, and Trump are delusional, right? So they're like, yeah, let's attack Iran. Yeah, let's do it. And he's got that stupid defense secretary, Hegseth, or whatever, some model from Fox News. Oh, you look like you would make a good defense secretary because you just look good. You look like a military model. So I think you should be the defense secretary. Oh, you're not qualified? You haven't actually run anything like, oh, it's okay, because you just look like you do. So that idiot's over there just, you know, this race white supremacist dude getting rid of all the black people, all the brown people in the military. You know, it's just got to be a white supremacist army, and they're talking about attacking China. I mean, this is bad, man. So basically, you know, no one's going to stop them. So now we have full-blown war. You know, at least when Biden, you idiots over there, you Trump supporters are talking about Biden this and Biden that, at least Biden had the sensibility that when Netanyahu attacked Iran the last time, he had, you know, Biden had the sensibility to say, look, Iran, can you just get your licks in, like get your retaliatory strike for saving face, and then don't do any more, please. And then Netanyahu, when he strikes back, you can make a lot of noise, but don't you keep striking back. Well, Biden's gone, and Trump and them actually are deluded to think they can win this war with our weapons that are very expensive and very limited, okay? And you got Russia and Ukraine, and you got China, and, you know, plotting to take over the Pacific. I mean, this is bad. Like, you know, these guys are stupid. Like, this is not gonna happen, okay? So now what has happened, as you probably know, and if you don't know, you need to go watch the news, but what has happened is basically Israel over the weekend, while we were having Trump's birthday to distract us from his stupid bill and the protests against him and all the stuff, told Bibi to attack Iran. So Bibi goes and attacks Iran, and then within hours, Iran sends hundreds of ballistic missiles at Israel, including Tel Aviv, and you can see the video right here. The missiles are coming down, and it's like something out of some kind of freaking sci-fi movie. It's unbelievable.
Overnight, explosions lit up the sky over Tel Aviv as Iran launched another counterattack. The Israeli military urged civilians to take shelter as they intercepted the strikes with the Iron Dome system. The U.S. is assisting in the defense, but some weapons slipped through. The IDF said dozens of people have been injured, some seriously, and there are reports of some deaths. Dozens of sites have been targeted. At daybreak, first responders assess the damage. The intensifying conflict has the world worried about an all-out war. It ignited Friday when Israel attacked Iran's nuclear sites. Iran claimed hundreds were injured and at least 78 people were killed, including some top officials. Israel's attack had been in the works for months. Israeli media reports Israel's intelligence service, the Mossad, built a drone base inside Iran for the assault. This video released by Mossad showing Israeli soldiers on Iranian soil.
I do think what they're trying to do is to further illustrate how the Iranian regime has lost control of their country.
Crowds gathered in Tehran Saturday chanting death to Israel and death to America. Iran's supreme leader has vowed revenge, while Israel's prime minister appealed to the Iranian people.
We're also clearing the path for you to achieve your objective, which is freedom.
The U.S. says it is assisting with Israel's defense, but was not involved in the attack, insisting Israel took unilateral action against Iran.
And, and then the news is so biased, man. This is another point I want to make. Like the BBC is just, there's been many demonstrations against the BBC in England or the UK about how they're completely biased against all the atrocities that Israel is doing in Gaza and how they just refuse to acknowledge it. So we know they're already biased, right? So they're sitting up here watching the missiles come down and the Iron Dome defense missiles are going up to intercept them. And it's obvious to anyone with half a brain that a lot of the missiles got through. We see them come down and blow up on the ground. And the news reporter's just like, oh, I think that's one of the interceptors maybe. Why? Because the Israeli propaganda is the fact that we are not ever allowed to say that a missile can get through their shield. That's like, oh, the military censors, oh, you cannot say that. You're not allowed. Anyway, it's just unbelievable how, biased they are. It's like, and sure, it's bad that any innocent civilians are being killed, but the way they just ignore it, it's like Iranians are just this vague kind of, 78 kind of thing, something happened to them over there. Like they're not even human over there. But then Israel is like, oh my God, look at all this destruction. Oh, civilians have died. Oh my, like how, just like with Gaza, how many lives, one Israeli life is worth what, 10,000 other lives? Like this bias that just gets on my absolute total freaking nerve. I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? And it's like, what the heck is going on? Does Israel own the BBC or something? And sure, the Iranian regime is evil too, but so is what Israel's doing in Gaza. I mean, that is just beyond evil that you have millions of people running around like animals in a cage, just dying of starvation. It's like a freaking Larry Niven novel where everyone was like eating algae on the shore, being raised in giant farms to be eaten by aliens. I mean, it's just insane. And then when the people go to get the food, you start shooting them. They've been shooting starving civilians trying to get food because Israel is trying to ethnically cleanse that area and starve them to death. You don't believe me? Look at this video.
Once again, let's just remind our viewers, if you're just joining us, it's just gone 15 GMT. I'm Laura Kyle. You're watching Al Jazeera. And here we see on our screens the latest pictures that we've been getting from Rafah in the south of Gaza. These are thousands of hungry Palestinians swarming an aid distribution site that has been set up by a controversial aid group, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. This has been backed by the US and it's been backed by Israel, but it's been roundly criticized by the UN and others as being impartial and ineffective. And this is the first time it has entered, or we're seeing it enter Gaza to distribute aid, and this is the scene of chaos that we can see as a result.
After several deadly incidents at 8 distribution sites, the UN says there has been another mass casualty event among Gazans waiting for food. Health officials in Gaza say more than 60 people were killed. Israel does not allow international journalists to freely report from Gaza, making it difficult to independently verify what's really happening there.
Chaos erupts as explosions are heard near an aid distribution point in Han Yunis. Local witnesses say Israeli forces opened fire and fired tanks on people waiting for food. Hundreds of injured people were rushed to nearby hospitals.
This is not aid. This is an ambush. This is not aid. This is an ambush against the youth. Not to feed them, but to kill them.
Gaza's health ministry say killings of civilians trying to secure food have been an almost daily occurrence since the new aid system was introduced. UN agencies and major aid groups have criticized and rejected the new system, saying it can't meet the mounting needs of the population in Gaza, where they say starvation has become widespread.
And this is just ridiculous. I mean, so basically we just got this war now. So now this, and these two people, the Iranians and the Israelis, they're just go at each other. And now it's just gonna be total, complete destruction, and all this stuff. And then it just goes south, right? You cannot predict what's gonna happen. That's why Biden and them and all the other presidents were trying their best to stop this from getting out of control. But now we have stupid Trump in here just basically being like, do whatever you want. And so now Iran's sending these missiles every night. Israel's like, oh, Tehran's gonna burn. And Iran's like, no, Tel Aviv's gonna burn. And it's like, okay, I guess both will just burn. And there's no one around with any half a brain to stop it. So it's just crazy. It's just gonna be bad, right? And those Iron Dome, they only have so many Patriot missiles and anti-missile systems and the Iron Dome and David Sling and Arrow 2 and whatever nonsense multi-million dollar anti-missile system they got. It doesn't matter because Iran can make this stuff cheaper and send just volleys of missiles over and who knows what else. It's a very mountainous country. And so you got an F-35 fighter that can stealthily go in there and blow up a commander's house or whatever. Well, those planes are very expensive. I mean, you can only do this so much, right? And then you're gonna just run out. And then what are you gonna do? And I'm sure they're thinking of other things. First of all, let me tell you something about the Iranians. The Western press always wants to frame Iran like they're just so bad and evil and whatever, right? Even though we were the ones that basically were oppressing them through the Shah of Iran back in the 70s to the point that the people just rebelled. And they're like, man, that America's freaking evil for supporting that dude and all his terror on our people. Well, that's what happened, right? Oh, but we're not going to talk about that because they took the embassy people hostage. We can't talk about that. America's just perfect. Anyway, the point is just that the Western press wants to frame Iran as the bad guy, and that's fine. But what you don't understand is that that used to be the Persian Empire, first of all, okay? And it's got a lot of really smart people over there, okay? They're not just a bunch of idiots over there, okay? And yeah, they're being oppressed by their regime or whatever, and there's a group of people that doesn't like that, and sure, but it's a very mountainous country. It didn't just show up yesterday. They got oil, they got all kinds of resources. That's not a country you just want to mess with, really, okay? And so, and let's just talk about the other stupid insanity of all this total nonsense. So Bibi gonna get up there talking about Iranian people, we're bombing you today, and I just want you to know that even though we're killing some of you, we're not fighting you, we're fighting your evil government. I mean, so while we're bombing and killing you, I need you to rebel against your government so you can be free, like the Israelis. I mean, the white Israelis, not the brown Palestinians ones. We know they're not even human. But you can be free, like the white Israelis. And yeah, so we're gonna keep bombing you. We're gonna make Tehran burn. But we're not fighting you. We're just fighting. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? What kind of other complete total BS nonsense is this? I mean, so when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in World War II, do you think the Americans, even if we were all fighting each other about whatever stupid politics, do you think the Americans were like, oh, yeah, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and so I think we need to rebel against our government now because those Japanese were right, they need to fight. Our government's evil, and that's why they bombed it. So why did the Japanese bomb our government? Oh, because it's evil. Oh, okay, so hey y'all, let's go rebel against government now. No, what did it do? It just rallied everyone to unify, and that's what's gonna happen. I mean, is he really serious? I was like, you think bombing these people is gonna make them rally? It's just like when the US went into Iraq and they thought the Iraqis were gonna rebel against Saddam Hussein. Well, that didn't happen. I think some tried, but we didn't help them, so they got oppressed and destroyed. So I mean, this is just, let's say some Iranians do rebel up. What, you think Israel's gonna help them? We had the Syrians rebel against Assad, and what's the first thing the Israelis do? When they actually won, the Israelis go in there and destroy all their weapons, take the land, take the Golan Heights, and it's like, oh, okay, this is how you're gonna repay these people for rebelling against your enemy? Like, it's just nonsense. It's utter, complete, total nonsense. And it's gonna be bad, and it's gonna get worse, okay? I'm just watching it. I'm just like, wow, okay? I mean, I guess, it hasn't knocked on my door yet, but, whatever. I mean, this is just in total insanity, And now we don't have no rational person to put this nonsense back in the jar, right? And I just love how the news is framing it like Iran's the bad guy. I mean, they're just sitting over there, and then all of a sudden here comes Israel out of the blue and just punching them in the face and killing their people. And it's like, that doesn't give you a right to freaking attack them, right? And it just, they're working on a nuclear weapon. Okay, first of all, the attack ain't stopping that. Okay, maybe it delayed a few things, but now these two countries are at war with each other now. So it'll be interesting to see, because Israel does not have the resources. Yeah, you got a few expensive jets and some bombs from the US, but America paid for all this stuff. Let's see how long it lasts. This will be really interesting. And then Trump's gonna get up there and say, see, Iran, I told you to do the negotiations with me, and this is what you get. You think the Iranians gonna wanna negotiate with you after you stab them in the back? Like, you're talking 1 minute and you have the Israelis bomb them the next minute. The Iranians pulled out of the talk. They're like, screw you, we ain't talking to you. Like, I wouldn't talk to you either. Like, no one, America is just going down because of this man. So anyway, the other thing, wow. I mean, the other thing basically is just that it's like, this guy is just like, Trump is just like, Hitler, and it's just bad. So how many people have to die because of these idiots? Like, I don't know. It's just gonna be crazy. That's just insane. Like, how did y'all, elect this fool into office? Like, if I meet you, I'm gonna be like, thanks for destroying the world. Anyway, I'm out. Aren't we out, Rusty? Can you believe this is happening? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? Out. Hey, like, subscribe, tell your friends, save the world, and let me know what you think in the comments.